not let me. What's going on here? There we go. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so um, all right, so you said equation of a line from a graph. Let's look at number let's look at number 4. Let me make it big so we can see it. So now, what they're probably going to do is they're going to give you an equation of a line, and they're going to want you to pick what graph corresponds to that equation. Okay, so but I'm gonna demonstrate how we're gonna figure out the equation of this line. Okay, so first of all, we want to determine do you know if this slope of this line is positive or negative?
Um, I think it's negative because it's going down from right to left, right?
From left to right.
From left to right.
So from
Uh,
left to right, which way is it going?
from left to right is going positive.
Right. So we know even without doing anything, this has a positive slope. So if you were taking if you have your answers with multiple choice, you could get rid of any negative answers.
Okay.
Any answer that had a negative slope, you now can get rid of just by knowing whether this is whether the slope of this line is positive or negative. So from left to right, what direction is going? So from left to right is going up, it's a positive slope.
Okay.
The second thing we notice is right here. Okay, where it crosses
The y
the
axis.
y-axis. That's called my y-intercept. So we know right away that our y-intercept is -3. Now, what letter do we use for y-intercept?
What letter do we use?
Mhm. We're talking about an equation of first of all, what is the equation of a line and slope intercept form? Do you know?
Is it y? Oh God, y times mx plus b. Is that it? I think.
Y equal mx plus b.
Y,
Okay, where m is your slope
right. M is the slope.
and b is your y-intercept.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So what we have now is we have our b. This is our b.
That's the b. Okay.
Okay. So we know right now the equation is going to be y equal something times x -3. Just by knowing the slope is positive and the y-intercept is -3. Now, the next thing we want to do is find out what the slope is. So when they want to know what the equation of a line is, you got to get two things from this graph. We got whether the slope is positive or negative. We got and we know whether what the y-intercept is. So now we got to get the slope. The two things we need, the two things we need from this graph are the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so how do we do that? How do we figure out the slope from this graph? How do we figure out the slope from this graph?
You have to find the 2 points. Is that it?
Okay, so we can use 2 points. So what 2 points do you want to use?
Oh gosh.
What 2 points do you want to use?
-5 and +5? No.
-5 and +5. So when you said -5 and positive, so is that a point? How do I know on the coordinate plane what you're talking about? So
I
let
don't.
me ask you a question. What would be the ordered pair for this point here? What would be the ordered pair? Remember, each
Is it
ordered pair
up here?
looks like this: x comma y.
X, Y. Yeah. Okay. Yep. X, Y. So it's X minus. X1? No, that's
So
different.
we look
Oh,
at this point. What's our x?
-5?
-5. What's our y?
Oh, -5.
-5. Okay. For this point, what's our x?
Oh, so I'm looking at the point. I'm thinking it was the line itself, but okay.
Mm.
Okay.
So remember, you can choose any 2 points.
So
Okay.
that's a point, and then the other one is a point.
Right.
Okay.
But this is also a point right here.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Okay.
Okay. So this point will be what? The second point.
That'd be a +4 and a
Not,
positive
no, not a
nine.
+4.
Oh no, because it's down below, right? So that'd be
So
a
x.
-1.
No. What is our x first? Remember our x-axis first.
Oh, the X is first. Oh man.
Remember ordered pairs x comma y. So here we go up to our x-axis. What is it?
You go up to the X axis. Oh, okay. Which is a +5?
+5. And what's our y?
-1?
-1. So that right there, being able to identify a point is very important.
Yeah, that's what I'm having
Okay, so
trouble.
because that's a guaranteed question on your exam. It is a guaranteed question on your exam to identify a point on the coordinate plane. So all we're doing is identifying our x, identifying our y. All you're doing is very simple. Wherever you are, go up to your x-axis, see what that value is. Go over to your y-axis, see what that value is.
So we have to
Um,
start at the point and then go to the X and then go to the Y. Okay.
mhm. Now, that's not how you were right. We could do the slope y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x. We could do it that way. Given this graph, though, I wouldn't do it that way. So
Okay.
here, since you said identify the points and figure out the slope using y2 minus y, I'm gonna do it that way first. But I'm gonna show you the way I would have done it. So then we look at this first point, and I'm gonna call this my first point. So this is my x1, this is my y1.
Mhm.
This is my x2, this is my y2. So
Uh,
y2, which is -1, minus y1, which is -5, over x2, which is 5, minus x1, which is -5.
mm,
So we got -1 plus 5, because two negatives
equals to the positive.
make
Right?
a positive. So these two negatives next to each other here make a positive. So it's -1 plus 5. And then the two negatives here also make a positive. So that's 5 plus 5. Understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Then 5 minus 1 is 4. 5 plus 5 is 10. So the slope of this line is 4 over 10. But we're not done. Remember, anything with fractions, we must reduce to lowest terms. So the slope here is
2/5.
2 over 5. Okay, so that, what does that mean? Okay, so let me save this. Let me erase some of this right here, because I need you to understand what the slope of 2 over 5 actually means. That means if I go to this point and I go up 2, 1, 2, and over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm on that line. Up 2, 1, 2, over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On that line. So plus 2 over 5, plus 2 over 5. If we kept extending, if we wanted another point on this line, what would we do? Go up 2 over 5.
Oh, okay.
So slope was 2/5.
5.
So the equation of this line would be y equal 2/5 x minus 3.
That's right. Okay.
Now, this is the way I would have done it. So let me clear the entire screen. And again, you could do it the way you just the way we just did it. This is the way I would have done it. Okay, first of all, from left to right, from the leftmost point to the rightmost point, what direction am I going? I'm going up, so I know it's positive. Same exact thing, both ways. The next thing I would do, where does the line cross the y-axis? That's my y-intercept. My y-intercept is -3. The, the difference here is if I have my graph, this is what I would have done. Rise over run. So I start from this point here, and how do I get to any other point? I got to go up 2, plus 2 is my rise, because rise is up or down. Since I had to go up, it's +2. And then I got to go over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I now have my slope.
Mm.
I know the two elements of my equation of a line now. My slope and my y-intercept. Y equal 2/5 x minus 3. I'm done. So that way I think is a little faster if you can identify, have that graph rise over run. Now, I'm not saying you can't use y2 minus y1 over x2. You can, but it's much faster to say, okay, if I have my point, if I know what my y-intercept is, I already have one point. Now, how do I get to that second point? Got to go up 2 over 5. Well, Mr. Tinsley, what if I didn't choose that point? What if I chose the other point? It's still the same thing. From left to right, it's going up. My slope is positive. My line crosses the y-axis at -3. So I got a point right here. This time, my rise over run. What if I use the other point? So, but this time, if I use the other point, I don't have to go up. I have to go which way?
You're gonna go down?
Down. So 1, 2. Since I went down, my rise is -2. And then now I have to go to the left.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since I went to the left, it's -5. Two negatives make a
It's
what?
positive.
Did I
Uh,
still get the same exact slope?
yes, you did.
Yes. My equation of the line, so the slope is 2/5. But my equation of the line would be y equal 2/5 x minus 3. Well, how do we know that, Mr. Tinsley? Because this is what I want you to remember. The, the slope intercept form of an equation of a line is y equal mx plus b. We know what m is. M is 2/5. So we just plug that 2/5 right there. We know what b is. B is -3. So we plug it right there. Very easy. You go. So the two things I would say you have to know is you need to know how, be able to identify a point in a graph. That's a guaranteed question. The second thing you have to be able to do is that when you're given a graph, what is the slope? What is the equation of the line? Guaranteed question. One of those are going to be on your exam, if not both or all three. So I would definitely be prepared for that. Now let's go
Okay.
over one more to make sure we understand. So who do we have here? Ashley.
Hi.
Did you understand what we just went over?
Well, I got in late, so I was just about to ask you. Honestly, this is the worst part for me. I feel like everything else I've been kind of good at, but when it comes to graphs and slopes and y equals mx plus b, it's like it doesn't go through. It doesn't go through my brain. I'm really trying to concentrate, but there's something about it that I don't get.
Well, guess what? After tonight, you will get it. I'm gonna make it as easy and as simple as possible. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna sit here and you're gonna say, no, it cannot be that easy, Mr. Tinsley, because I've been struggling with this for all this time. It can't be that easy. It is that easy. So I need you to focus. Watch this. So we're looking at this graph, right? So the first
Mhm.
step to find the equation of the line is to identify if this slope is positive or negative, right? So the first thing we're going to do is, let me get my pencil back on the screen. To identify whether this slope is positive or negative, turn it to red and let me put an arrow. So from left to right, so I'm starting at my leftmost point. Oops, that was still blue. We change back to red. My leftmost point. How do I get to my second point? Which way am I going? Am I going up or down?
Down.
Down. So right from there, you know the slope is negative. You know the slope is negative. What, Mr. Tinsey, well, why would you go over that? Because if it's a multiple choice problem, and if you know the slope is negative, you know you can remove all the positive slopes. Understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. All right. The next step, identifying what the y-intercept is. Where does the line cross the y-axis? Can you answer that for me? Where does the line cross the y-axis?
-1.
So it's not really -1. This is a bad problem. So let me choose another because this is actually like a half or something
A
like that.
half, yeah,
Yeah,
-1.5.
we don't want that problem. We want it to work out to a nice whole number. So let me find another one. Because see,
Okay.
on this problem, they're only asking for slope, but I'm using this graph to find the equation online. Let me get another one real fast.
Will they give us something like that that's gonna throw us off?
I mean, well, they could, but so all right, so let's do it then. Let me just do it real quick. So I know the slope from left to right. I know the slope is negative. The y-intercept is like -1/2. The slope, I'm gonna use this point right here, or I can use these 2 points. So I'm gonna use this point. I need to go 1, 2, 3. I went down 3. That's -3, and I had to go over +10. So my
Oh,
slope will be -3/10. So my
oh, so we
equation
would
of the
have to go
line,
over that point.
right, would be -3 times x minus 1/2. They're not gonna have that. They're gonna have a whole number. But that's how you would do it. It's really that simple. So but I don't know if that's a half or not. So they're not going to put it on a graph like this because is that -1/2? Is it -0.56? Is it -0.7? I don't know exactly what that is. So on the GED, they're going to have a point that corresponds to a whole number. So without confusing you, let me go to one where both the x and y are positive. So let me go to this one right here. I wanted a negative slope. So let's do this one right here, number 5. So again, from left to right, it's going down. So this is a negative slope. Where is it crossing the y-axis?
5.
At +5. That easy. You don't have to go through all this terminology. You look at the y, wherever that line crosses, that's your y-intercept. Now, okay, so now to find my slope, because remember, for the equation of the line, we need 2 things. We need the slope and we need the y-intercept. Well, we already got the y-intercept. So we're going to use that first point. And which direction do we need to go to get to that second point?
Down.
Down.
Down. Count with me.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10. What kind of 10 is that?
Negative.
That's a -5.
-10.
-10.
Why is it -10? Because which direction are we going?
Down.
Down.
Because we're going down. Now, in order to get to that second point, what direction do we have to go now?
Right.
To the right. Count with me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So my run is +5. So remember, well, how do you know if it's positive or negative? Because this is what you want to remember. Remember, if you're going to the right, it's positive. If you're going to the left, it's negative. If you're going up, it's positive. If you're going down, it's negative. So since we went down, our rise was -10. Since we're going to the right, it's a +5. We can reduce this to lowest terms. So our slope, what's -10/5 reduced to?
-5/2.
What is -10/5 reduced to?
Are we turning into a
Okay, let me ask you this. What's the greatest common factor? What number can go into 5? What's the greatest common factor? What's the biggest number that can go into 5 and the 10?
5.
5. How many times does 5 go into 10?
Twice.
Twice. How many times does 5 go into 1? I mean 5 go into 5.
5.
How many times can 5 go into 5?
Oh, five.
Oh, once. Sorry.
Once.
Once.
Negative 2 over 1 is the same as what?
-2.
Negative 2. So our slope is negative 2. Our y-intercept is plus 5. What would my equation of the line be?
Where would your what be?
What would my
Five.
equation of the line be? So if we know the slope is negative 2 and we know the y-intercept is negative, positive 5, what's the equation of the line?
Positive? Is that no?
Y
So
equals negative
y
2.
equal negative 2,
Negative 2 over
negative 2 what?
+5.
Negative 2 what?
Mm,
2x.
2x
okay. +5.
plus 5. That's it. All we doing is substituting those values in to y equal mx plus b.
That
That's
was
it.
that was
That wasn't too bad, right? So
Mhm.
again, this is where the practice comes in at.
uh-huh.
Okay, let's try one more. Let me clear it up. Let's try number 1. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask each of you, not each of you, but I'm gonna ask you the questions first. So that's see that we don't want to use number 1 because it's not crossing the y-axis at all. Okay, let's do number 3. So my question to you is the slope of this line positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. How do you know it's negative?
It's going down.
It's going down. So the slope is negative. You can see that right away.
Hmm.
Okay, perfect. That's the first step. Second step, where does this line cross the y-axis?
-1.
-1. So my y-intercept or b is -1. That's not hard either, right?
Hmm.
No.
So what we're going to do is when we can see that y-intercept, that's the point we're going to use. Remember, to find the slope, you can use any 2 points. I can use that point all the way up to the left, and I can use that point bottom all the way to the bottom. But I know what my y-intercept is, so why not just use that point? So to find the slope, the third step is rise over run. So I'm gonna start from that y-intercept. What direction do I need to go to get to my second point?
Down.
Second
Down,
point.
down. Count with me.
Yeah. 1,
1, 2,
3, 4.
So
5.
what kind of 4 is that?
A negative.
-4.
Why is it -4?
It's going down.
Because it's going down. Rise is -4. Okay. What directions do I have to go to get to my second point?
To the right.
To the right. One,
1,
two,
2, 3,
three,
3,
4,
4.
5, and that's +5.
positive 5. So my slope is what?
-4 over 5.
-4 over 5. What's my y-intercept?
1. -1.
-1. So if I know my slope is -4/5, I know my y-intercept is -1. What is my equation of the line?
-1.
Start with
What?
y.
Oh, y equals -1.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
No, -4/5.
Negative
Oh,
4
okay.
over 5. Because remember,
X.
y equal mx plus b.
Mx plus b.
So
So
-4/5 what?
X
X
-1.
minus 1.
Okay.
That's what you have to do. Listen, um, I know I got on late, and I know I got on late, but I hold on. Phew. I'm going to stop this session right now. I'm not feeling well. I
Okay.
don't know if you can see it, but I actually broke out in a sweat. So I need to go check my sugar and my blood pressure right now. So I'm gonna have to end this session.